When you finally leave, witness the narcissist's unspoken painful regret. Greetings all. In this discourse, we shall explore the complex array of sentiments that traverse the narcissist's mind when confronted with their victim's resolute escape from their detrimental grasp. However, prior to continuing, I would like to encourage you to join our expanding community by selecting the subscribe icon. By doing so, one not only protects oneself from the anxieties that ensnare narcissists when one departs, but also acquires the understanding and perceptions necessary to navigate this intricate terrain. We should commence on this endeavour. It is widely believed that narcissists are impervious to pain and distress in the event that their victims escape their manipulative grasp. They frequently exhibit the appearance of having an inexhaustible supply of validation and attention, which renders their emotions apparently insignificant. Nevertheless, it is imperative to recognize that although broad generalizations can be drawn regarding narcissists, unique experiences may differ. Achieving self-liberation from a narcissist requires that you confront them unexpectedly, as this challenges their fundamental nature. This elicits an intense surge of emotions that rips them apart internally. It is imperative to specify that the purpose of this disclosure is not to promote the idea of second chances or to advise you to reevaluate your decision. Conversely, it illuminates the fact that narcissists experience emotional distress when an individual elects to disengage. This comprehension in no way undermines the soundness of your decision. You exhibited great bravery by deciding to depart in the face of the excruciating suffering that was inflicted upon you. Let us now directly confront the truth. Narcissists inflicted upon you unfathomable anguish and a turbulent emotional ride that ultimately left you battered and damaged. You bore the stigma of their deeds, their conspicuous lack of regard for reliability, and their persistent transgression of limits that ought to have been sacred in your partnership. The aforementioned agonizing experiences prompted you to declare that enough is sufficient. Through making self-preservation a priority and embracing one's well-being, freedom, and happiness, one makes the deliberate decision to liberate oneself from ongoing torment. At this juncture, one should commence a journey of profound introspection and restoration. Reclaim your sense of self and bear in mind your immense inner fortitude. It is not uncommon for narcissists to appear surprised upon learning that you have chosen to withdraw and sever all communication. It is equivalent to changing the access code to one's existence. It is an essential measure taken to protect oneself. After coming to the realization that you are genuinely deceased, a considerable number of individuals experience a turbulent emotional journey revolving through a range of distressing stages. At the outset, they might attempt to rationalize the situation away by persuading themselves that the separation is an ordinary occurrence. They minimize its importance, perceiving it as a transitory obstacle. Disbelief, nevertheless, supplants denial as the actuality of your departure becomes apparent. They find it difficult to comprehend your actual departure. A wave of disbelief envelops them, leaving them bewildered and confounded. As the level of awareness increases, the act of assigning responsibility emerges. Narcissists become enraged, accusatory in nature, and adamant that you never cared about them or adored them sincerely. As time passes, their indignation grows more intense, and they begin to wonder how you could have abandoned them in such a manner. By drawing parallels to those who have abandoned them, they may express their emotional anguish. Let us shed light on a shocking reality. Although certain narcissists may quickly seek out new sources of attention and progress, this does not mean that the feelings they once had for you are irretrievably damaged. The process of detaching oneself from a previous relationship is not as simple as deactivating a switch. This is a perplexing reality. Although we have all moved on from past relationships, we continue to harbor deep affection for our former companions. Occasionally, even when we are deeply involved in current matters, our thoughts wander back to previous passions, inciting feelings of longing and nostalgia. For this reason, specific narcissists abruptly enter into new relationships in an attempt to escape the unresolved emotional baggage that has plagued them in the past. Nevertheless, an indisputable reality endures. They have yet to confront or reprocess these profoundly entrenched emotions. These emotions persist as latent spectres in their recent romantic partnerships, whispering the unresolved portions of their past. Notwithstanding their apparent distress at your departure or their hastiness to grasp onto new sources of validation, it is a perplexing realization that narcissists' behavior is motivated by profound inner turmoil. Permit me to elucidate now. This is not intended to manipulate or coerce you into returning to a noxious dynamic. Undoubtedly not. This does not constitute a directive that requires observance or action. Backwards, the path should be completely avoided. Upon the realization that you have moved on, narcissists experience an emotional rollercoaster consisting of disbelief, remorse, and ultimately ire. Their ire compels them to escalate their behavior uncontrollably, inundating you with messages, unannounced visits, and persistent phone calls. Additionally, they seek out alternative sources of attention in the event that you withdraw. It is critical to comprehend that narcissists do not experience remorse. They instead justify their behavior by invoking their own distorted reality. While they may ostensibly have moved on since your departure, they may be harboring latent desires for your return. Obsession is among the many strategies they will employ to manipulate you. Even if that fails, their ire will only intensify. It is important to note that the act of recognizing these patterns should not instill uncertainty about your decisions or reignite a negative relationship. Your emancipation is absolute. Preserve your resolve to liberate yourself and give precedence to your personal welfare. Develop a support system to assist you on your journey toward healing and self-discovery. It is critical to exercise extreme caution when confronting a narcissistic person who is consumed by rage, as such interactions can be extremely dangerous. Therefore, it is crucial to exercise prudence and refrain from immediately disclosing your departure. The very thought of your progressing or thriving independently of them can provoke a dangerous escalation of their instability. When you are ultimately emancipated, their painstakingly constructed universe disintegrates, leaving them bewildered and bewildered. This departure from their premeditated strategy could incite their ire as they fervently strive to shift responsibility onto your person. It is essential to recognize that fragments of truth may exist within their responses. Nevertheless, approaching the domain of managing a narcissistic person at this degree is comparable to navigating perilous waters. Be ready for the tempest to reach unprecedented magnitudes, as it has the potential to press limits to their utmost extent. Prepare yourself for an abrupt awakening to reality. It is possible for narcissists to lapse into profound despondency once one withdraws from their realm. Certain individuals employ manipulative strategies by making alarming proclamations, such as, "My despair could bring about a tragic demise." Should you ever confront such a claim, I strongly advise against shouldering the burden by yourself. For a wellness check, contact a mental health crisis hotline or the appropriate authorities. It is highly advisable to seek professional assistance in order to ensure your safety and overall welfare, as an unintentional involvement could render you their subsequent target. Prioritize your safety and well-being at all times. Although empathy and compassion are praiseworthy qualities, It is equally critical to ensure that one possesses the fortitude and assistance necessary to undertake the required actions, which may involve seeking assistance from external sources. When facing a narcissist whose emotions are escalating and their world is collapsing, they may exhibit unpredictable behavior that is potentially dangerous. While their expressions of distress may seem sincere, it does not necessarily indicate a lasting improvement in their behavior towards you or their potential to develop into a more compatible partner. It essentially emphasizes their aversion to solitude and apprehension of existence without you. Friends, this truly is the core of the matter. Anticipate that upon communicating your intention to leave, they will be consumed in an emotional avalanche where their ability to control their own emotions completely eludes them. You are entirely correct in stating that their outward display of composure could potentially crumble. However, be mindful. In the event that their emotional instability severely escalates, you are duty-bound to intervene, even if it means notifying the appropriate authorities. At all costs, your health and safety must be maintained in the highest regard. Should one have children in a shared household with such a person, they should be prepared to potentially use the children as pawns and manipulate them in order to cause emotional damage to oneself. We have no choice but to acknowledge this regrettable fact. Permit me to conclude this discussion by underscoring the paramount importance of subscribing to our channel in order to be notified of upcoming content. By remembering to like, share, and subscribe, you can ensure that you stay updated on forthcoming discussions and invaluable insights. We would like to express our sincere appreciation for your participation in our community and look forward to providing you with further informative material in the near future. There are 6 distinct methods in which narcissists respond when they feel offended. Greetings and gratefulness to all for your presence on the Narcissism Backfires channel. Narcissists operate under the assumption that they are more significant than others. Individuals have a tendency to hold the belief that they are entitled solely to positive feedback and interpret any form of criticism or negative feedback, regardless of its subtlety, as a personal attack. Whether an individual is narcissistic can be readily discerned by analyzing their response when they perceive that they have suffered a wrongdoing. This is one method for identifying an individual as a narcissist. Speak further about them if we may. 1. Anger excessive in proportion. Common individuals, when exposed to constructive criticism, demonstrate a variety of reactions that fall within the parameters of societal approval. Their level of ire is proportional to the quantity of criticism they have been subjected to. Conversely, individuals diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder might display irrational levels of rage in relation to the personal attack. They may experience a tidal wave of emotion regarding an apparently inconsequential matter due to their desire to avoid responsibility for any of their mistakes, irrespective of their insignificance. Ascertaining whether an enraged response is proportional to the circumstances is not a challenging task. A potential indication that you are interacting with a narcissist is if you have witnessed an outburst of rage in reaction to an insignificant criticism or a jest that the majority of people can find amusing. 2. Disruption. Narcissistic individuals are preoccupied with themselves and strive ceaselessly to preserve their status as the center of attention. Although they may exhibit impoliteness or charisma when interacting with others in a group, they have one characteristic that remains constant. They enjoy being the center of attention. They might become irritated if the focus of the conversation or connection is diverted to an unrelated matter. From that point forward, narcissists will readily refocus the conversation back to themselves by interjecting themselves. As stated, they are capable of doing so in an uncouth or endearing manner. However, The behavior of the average person would regard such an interruption as extremely peculiar. 3. Controversy. Narcissistic individuals are so preoccupied with themselves that they are indifferent to the emotions of others. They are capable of exhibiting a propensity for heightened aggression and arrogance upon sensing an impending attack, irrespective of whether the assault was directed at them. They might launch retaliatory attacks that could cause psychological and social harm to their fictitious adversary. Their attitude gives rise to a predicament stemming from an absence of empathy towards the individual whom they are offering criticism of. They exhibit a lack of concern for the potential repercussions of their actions, irrespective of the severity of the assault. They derive an increased level of satisfaction from subjecting that person to further torment. It will not be difficult for you to notice it, as they exhibit no qualms about humiliating even their peers, regardless of the occasion. 4. Anxiety and fear. Grandiose narcissists are perpetually prepared to launch a retaliatory assault whenever they perceive it to be necessary. However, specific individuals who exhibit sensitive narcissism are more prone to experiencing anxiety attacks whenever they perceive an offense. These individuals lack the hostility exhibited by their more ostentatious contemporaries. Nevertheless, one might promptly discern the presence of a mental illness in such individuals if they exhibit a typical anxiety whenever they are not the focal point of attention. 5. Protectiveness. Everyone feels defensive in the face of criticism, but narcissists are almost invariably defensive, irrespective of whether they are the target of the criticism or not. They must make every effort to maintain their inflated sense of self-importance. The concern lies in the consistent pattern of their conduct. They will rationalize any action taken to defend their reputation, even if it contradicts accepted practices, when they adopt a defensive stance. They possess a remarkable ability to quickly redirect objects back towards you or another individual when you attempt to direct something in their direction. 6. Participating in physical exercise. The FBI considers individuals with NPT to be dangerous due to their propensity for abusive behavior, including physical violence, toward those they perceive as a threat. Narcissistic individuals frequently resort to abusive behavior toward their spouse and children, among other family members. Not only strangers are susceptible to falling victim to this mindset. Moreover, individuals afflicted with malignant narcissism have an increased propensity to develop psychopathy. The present video has reached its definitive segment. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude for your time in viewing this video. Should you have any additional thoughts or personal anecdotes to impart, kindly do so within the remarks segment that follows. Consider creating an account on our channel. Should you agree, please click the bell icon to receive notifications when we upload new videos. I express my gratitude for your attention.